Yeah, this is Shells 360. Welcome to Wake Up People. See, these people think they're a god. You know, you have people like Bilderberg and Rothschild and Rockefeller. They control a lot of what's going on in today's world. They control. I'm gonna put it to you like this. You know how the president doesn't make a lot of decisions on his own. You gotta have Congress to approve or whatever. Well, it goes deeper than Congress. We talking about people that's rich, and powerful men and evil men. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. These evil men that's under the Congress giving direct orders. And people, it might sound crazy. I know people like, dang, this guy crazy, he's talking craziness. But to be honest with you, that's what's really going on. We are fighting evil spirit war right now. It's almost about to be a holy war. Right now we in a spiritual war because we have all this tension between countries and everybody's just against each other, ready to bomb each other out, creating nuclear weapons. And in the meantime, they have us like a deer in headlights because they give us now technology with phones, laptops, computers, tablets, hoverboards, anything you can think of just to take our mind off of stuff. See, God put the internet here on earth for a reason. Like the internet is a good asset. If you're gonna be on the phone or tablet, look, go search some things that you don't know about. That's what the internet is here for. And if you do a little research and then you go into your Bible and you read, then you'll see how transparent the Bible and what's really going on in the world today is. So what I want to explain to y'all is just, you gotta open your eyes to this or what's going on in this world, because these people ain't gonna tell you. They got your kids in like a deer in headlights with all the electronics and the toys and these TV shows. I'm gonna be honest with you. These TV shows is so brainwashing and it gets you hooked in. That's why everybody got their favorite TV show. Everybody has a favorite TV show. Everybody has a favorite TV show. And you can sit there and watch that for 8 hours. Like watch a whole episode or matter of fact, a whole series or season for one day. You know what I'm saying? They got Netflix out here, it's a lot that they put in front of our eyes to blind us from the truth. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
If you don't submit to control, if you're a radical, you're less likely to be loved. You're not fitting in with society. You're viewed as an outsider. So there's a lot of social prohibitions about the outsider and the person who's going to upset things.
From the time we're very young, we're taught to, worship authority basically because that's our key to survival as young children. But as adults, we never go through the rites of passage that tell us how to methodically think for ourselves, and thus we're always in a state of extended adolescence.
Well, we take all this stuff, whether it's the television or it's the enculturation, the schoolyards, the teachers, we take this whole system, we put it into our unconscious mind. And it is the G-I-G-O that comes out, garbage in, garbage out. We simply, in that computer language, have harnessed our own power by accepting all these beliefs as though they are factual, whether it's the flat earth of Columbus, or it's the idea that I'm not good enough to be or to do something I've dreamed to do.
To the degree that the individual loses a sense of what freedom really means for himself, mind control is working. This is the constant battle and the struggle. What does my freedom mean to me? What is it? How deep does it go? How far?
Now, basically, what's going on right now is, since, like I said, the beginning of the time of presidents, this was set up to be an organized country here on the West, because it's already organized over there in the Middle East, in the East. So basically, in the West, they had to get presidents, just like they had to get kings over there and all that. Over here, they got presidents. So every 4 years, we change over presidents, or unless the president want to serve a second term, we give him a second term, he'd serve for 8 years. Now, the whole thing with presidents is to direct order. But the order don't come directly from the presidents, it comes from Congress. And what they do is, basically, they tell you to obey laws, they make laws up, and they contradict laws. And behind the scenes of everything that's really going on, like, they show you things that's not really necessary. Like, for instance, they got the TV going because back then everybody was focused on the radio and with talking what's going on, whatever, and they needed something to get the people's minds off what's going on around the world, so they created things like TV. So now TV has got our minds going. Everybody's looking at TV shows, comedy shows or what have you, and really, they telling you what's going on in front of your face, but you're not knowing. So the only thing is to really confuse you on what you're really supposed to be paying attention about.
And we'll continue to work together to achieve peace. That's what we want. Freedom and peace.
Look at the Council on Foreign Relations. Many members, in fact, the majority, never serve on the executive committees. They never go through any initiation of any kind. They are, in fact, the power base and are used to gain a consensus of opinion. The majority are not really members, but are made to feel as if they are. In reality, they are being used and are unwilling or unable to understand. They may have been or may be members of the Christian or Jewish religion, but that is only to further their own ends. They are, and always have been, Luciferian and internationalist. They give allegiance to no particular nation, although they have used, on occasion, nationalism to further their causes. Their only concern is to gain greater economic and political power. The ultimate objective of the leaders of both groups is identical. They are determined to win for themselves undisputed control of the wealth, natural resources, and manpower of the entire planet. They intend to turn the world into their conception of a Luciferian totalitarian socialist state. In the process, they will eliminate all Christians, Jews, and atheists. You have just learned one, but only one, of the great mystery.
The people who are running this country from behind the scenes do not care a thing about Americans or bloodshed anywhere. I think we're going to awaken one day to find out that we've all been too relaxed and entertained and watching television and being entertained with all the cares of life, never realizing what is going on in this country.
I feel like this day is the day to give y'all my message. Tell y'all what God has been telling me. In this new world order that's in front of our eyes, people not even understanding it, let no know about it, because a lot of people don't know nothing about it. A lot of people just think it's a conspiracy theory or something that's just made up. Well, I have to bring some news to y'all. This is nothing made up. This is real. Whatever you want to call it. If you don't want to believe in the word Illuminati, and that's what it's called, fine. But do believe this. We do have a lot of people, and a lot of evil people, might add, that's doing things to us. We all know what's real and what's not. We all have a conscience. We all have our own choices that we make. We have a choice. God gave us free will, and we need to use that free will and use it wisely. You gotta understand that everything that's glittering gold, and I know this is the old saying, it's cliche, is not really glittering gold. You lift up that sheet, it's a bunch of dirt, dust, mildew, slime. We are tearing ourselves down. You ever heard the saying, I ain't put the gun to your head and make you do it? Well, that's exactly what they are doing. They're not putting the gun to our head and making us do anything. We choose.
That there is a major dominant spiritual element to all of this. And whether you believe there is another dimension to the universe, whether you believe that there are spiritual dimensions to the universe, whether you believe that there's anything going on in the world around you that you can't see, the elites are into the occult, which just means hidden. They are very into the esoteric. They are obsessed with it, and none of them that I've met are atheists. That is a modern pseudoscientific mindset or group or cult that is very closed-minded about a lot of things. Mathematics has shown other dimensions. Mathematics has proven much of what's in the Bible. And the Bible so accurately predicts technological developments that we're now seeing today. So whether you believe in the mark of the beast or not, a cashless society is coming. A cashless society is going to have hellish ramifications for everyone, and we won't be able to probably stop it, but we have a responsibility to resist it and hold it back as long as possible so that when it comes into fruition, it's used by God to wake up a lot of people to not go along with it and to then defeat it quicker. And even if you're not religious or not a Christian or not, you should be against the cashless society. So Steve Jobs would not let his children have an iPad. All the Apple execs say no, it destroys cognitive ability, it brain damages them. Just type in screen time causes brain damage. Screen time lowers cognitive ability. I mean, you'll get mainstream news. They're not even hiding it from you. It's just like a drug insert tells you, you know, kill you. They're like, oh, here's your drug. By the way, read the insert. And whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in Christianity or not, whether you believe in the Bible or not, this is what supposedly over 1 billion people believe in the world. And what's described in the Bible, a cashless society, is basically almost here. And it does make us incredibly dependent. It does allow control over the economy. It does allow major financial institutions to rig the stock market. That's admitted. And for Google to even predict the future by tracking millions of different human actions every hour. By the way, print me some articles about that. I just want to show folks, Google intended to be artificially intelligent. That's Wired Magazine last year. The articles about Google can predict the future, just so I can show people, because I want to do a report next hour on this, and folks will be watching, folks will be listening. I want to source all this because, again, the general public, technologically in their understanding, is about 40 years behind. So people need to understand what this is all really about. It's just something like this. Human-animal chimeras are gestating on research farms. And I've got hundreds of articles here. I could spend all day on these. It's not like I keep going back to this 4 or 5 times this last week because I don't have material. This is a big whitewash article where it calls it tissue. No, they're growing embryonic babies that they create, embryos in test tubes, and then they implant them in the cows and in the sheep and in the pigs because they can't get women to do it. And Lord knows they've done it with women too. That's the word. But they want them in cows because they can grow them up bigger and get larger organs. 30 years ago. 20 years ago, I was reporting on this out of white papers, and it was 10 years old then. That's when they admitted it. And look, I know I keep belaboring, but this is the point I'm getting at. The story I've told probably 50 times. About 14 years ago, I went in to pick up a pizza at a pizza place, and this guy goes, "How idealistic are you? Until you lied and said there's sheep and goats that are part spider and that they create body armor in their milk." I said, "Okay, well, believe whatever you want, sir." And he poked me in my back. I said, "No, you're a liar." And I turned around and I said, "So you went to college, didn't you?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." I went, "When'd you go?" "I went to UT in the 70s. And I took biology. They don't have stuff like that." And I just said, "You better get out of my face." And that's what I deal with, folks. I'm covering stuff that's spider goats are at least 25 years old. They've been in tens of thousands of publications. They've been in hundreds of publications at that time. I have the CEO on my show running a Department of Defense program with the goats. The month before, that guy said I was a liar. But see, that's what I can't deal with. The Emergency Centers Establishment Act, the Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program, all of this is admitted. FEMA camps are admitted. It's all admitted in the Army Times. They're preparing them for political dissenters. But they just sit up there and say, crazy people think this is all happening.
What I read in the Bible today is, without knowledge, it's nothing. I'll put that Bible verse up. And I'm researching. I'm looking into what's going on today. Well, everything that's coming to pass, I've read about these things years ago. Nothing surprised me. Things that they tell us now, that's going to happen. I read up, did my research, read the Bible, is in there, it's going to happen. But the Bible clearly states to us when it's what to look out for, you know, give us tips. We cannot lay down. Jesus wants us to fight. How can you secure our country if you bringing in radicals? Islamic State. I'm calling it for what it is. And my belief is, look, if these type of people are bringing us problems, oh yes, keep them on the other side of the line till we figure out what's going on. Gets no realer than that. So what I'm trying to tell y'all is, like, this new world order, this is a big business. This is something that they've been talking about since 1776. Or I can just, matter of fact, we can go farther than that. We talking about Nimrod, when he was king. He wanted a one world government, a one world religion. We following back in the days of Nimrod and Bel in Babylon. We are in the days of Babylon. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're not even getting into the depths of it yet. These political people is not your friends. They all for self. There are good politicians out here, but under those good politicians, you got somebody pulling some strings, telling them what to do and say. News. The news is the biggest fraud. They know what's going on. I mean, what can you say? So that's why I do my research. I watch the news, but I know better. You know, I know better. And a lot of people just take things for what it is and just take what they give you and don't open it up and see what's in it. Oh, forget that. You're not going to feed me no story and I'm not going to research it. It's not going to go down like that. That's when the wisdom and the knowledge come in. When you where you built your knowledge up to the point where it's like, oh, that's a lie. You already know it's a lie before you even finish the sentence. See, I'm vigilant. When the Pope was running around here kissing babies, slapping backs, I'm sitting up there looking like, oh, these people just... This reminds me of when Jesus was riding on the donkey and everybody was just praising him. And that's how I felt when the Pope came to town. He riding in his little glass vehicle, everybody praising him, calling him father. He talking about atheists ain't going to hell. Homosexuality is a gift. I see that the Pope ain't read his Bible either. I'm very big on that. Don't tell me something I know is an abomination. Can't tell me nothing.
The Illuminati. Now, the Illuminati was established in 1776 by a fellow named Adam Weishaupt. In 1773, he was commissioned by one of the Rothschilds, House of Rothschild, to put together an organization called the Illuminati. And the goals that he was commissioned to set up, there were 25 of them. Number one was men are inclined to evil rather than good. Number two goal and issue was to preach liberalism. Number three, use the ideas of freedom to bring about class wars. That's what we're doing today. Number four, any and all means should be used to reach our goals as they are justified. Number five, their rights lie in force. We're talking about the Illuminati rights lie in force. Number six, the power of our resources must remain invisible until the very moment when it has gained the strength that no cunning or force can undermine it. And if you will notice, it's been very few people know about the Illuminati, so they have maintained their invisibility until most recently. Number seven, advocated mob psychology to obtain control of the masses. Number eight, use alcohol, drugs, moral corruption, and all forms of vice to systematically corrupt the youth of the nation. Number nine, seize property by any means. We're seeing that on a daily basis. Number 10, deal with the use of slogans such as equity, liberty, fraternity into the mouths of the masses in psychological warfare. Boy, if that isn't Bill Clinton, I never saw it and never heard it before. That man is unbelievable. As former Congressman Dennemeyer describes him, he's a draft-dodging, womanizing, pathological liar, and he certainly fits into item number 10. Number 11 dealt with war, number 11 theory and goal. In 1773, Adam Weishaupt set down policies that were publicly announced in 1939, folks. 1773, publicly announced 1939 by Britain and the United States. And the war should be directed so that the nations on both sides are placed further in debt and peace conferences conducted so neither combatants obtain territorial rights. Yalta. Perfect example. Stalin, Roosevelt, Winston Churchill after World War II. Number 12. Told those present that they must use their wealth to have candidates chosen to public office who would be obedient to their demands and would be used as pawns in the game by the men behind the scenes. The advisors will have been bred, reared, and trained from childhood to rule the affairs of the world. We have that today without any question. The men behind the scenes. Number 13, control the press. I've documented that the mainstream media is being controlled by the big power people, by the phony politicians, by the bureaucrats, without any question about it. Number 14, their agenteurs will come forward after fomenting traumatic situations and appear to be the saviors of the masses when they are actually interested in just the opposite, the killing of the masses. Number 15, create industrial depression and financial panic, unemployment, hunger, shortage of food. Use this to control the masses or the mobs and use the mobs to wipe out all those who dare to stand in the way. Well, I'll tell you right now, every expert I've talked to is talking about food shortage. And it's coming, I'm convinced. Number 16, infiltrate into the secret Freemasonry to be used for their purposes. That's been documented many times. Number 17, expound the value of systematic deception. Use high-sounding slogans and phrases and advocate lavish promises to the masses, even though they cannot be kept. Number 18, detailed plans for resolution discuss the art of street fighting, which is necessary to bring the population to a speedy subjection. Number 19, use our agencies as advisors behind the scenes after wars through secret diplomacy to gain control. Number 20, establish huge monopolies toward world government control. We're seeing that today, the huge monopolies. Number 21, use high taxes and unfair competition to bring about economic ruin by controlling raw materials, organized agitation among the workers, and subsidizing competitors. GATT, NAFTA. Number 22, build up armaments with police and soldiers sufficient to protect our interests. Number 23, members and leaders of the one world government would be appointed by the director. Number 24, infiltrate into all classes and levels of society of government for the purpose of fooling, bemusing, and corrupting the youth members of society by teaching them theories and principles that we know to be false. This is the outcome-based education program being shoved down our throats by the United Nations. Number 25, national and international laws should be used to destroy civilization. There's talk about the world population being decreased to 500 million, the United States population being decreased to 20 million.
Can you believe what you have been seeing on CNN today, ladies and gentlemen? Can you believe it? Supposedly, a CNN reporter found Osama bin Laden, took a television camera crew with him, went into Osama bin Laden's hideout, interviewed him and his top leadership, his top lieutenants and colonels and generals in their hideout. This is a CNN reporter with a camera crew. And he came out and told everybody, within 3 weeks, Osama bin Laden is going to attack the United States and Israel. Now, don't you think that's kind of strange, folks? You see, because the largest intelligence apparatus in the world, with the biggest budget in the history of the world, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years, and can't find him. A reporter from CNN and his little camera crew got in to Osama bin Laden's secret hideout and conducted an interview. If you don't believe me, tune into CNN. They're probably running it right now as I'm speaking. And if you believe it, you are one of the stupidest jerks that ever lived on the face of this earth. And whatever is going to happen that they're going to blame on Osama bin Laden, don't you even believe it. When in hell are all you people going to wake up?
An examination of the building's steel beams and columns could have shown whether explosives had been used to slice them, but virtually all of the steel was removed before it could be properly investigated, then put on ships to Asia to be melted down.
It's important for us to not reveal how we collect information. That's what the enemy wants.
And you have no evidence that the government's behind 9/11, and I frankly think it's an awful thing to allege, considering it's not true and you haven't proved that it is. It's totally implausible. Like, we would report that if that were true.
Because these guys own our government. They print our money, and they own not only the government, but they own you. You are their property. So, in other words, these guys print the money, they run the country, and they own you, and they own everything around it. And so they make the laws, and that's why they can decide who can kill who, and who can get away with who, and who can get away with whatever, because they make the laws and they decide, all right?
On that day, what did the president say to you?
The president, in a very intimidating way, left us, me and my staff, with the clear indication that he wanted us to come back with the word that there was an Iraqi hand behind 9/11, because they had been planning to do something about Iraq from before the time they came into office.
Did he ask about any other nations other than Iraq?
No, not at all. It was Iraq, Saddam, find out, get back to me.
And were his questions more about Iraq than about Al-Qaeda?
Absolutely, absolutely. He didn't ask me about Al-Qaeda. And we said, but Iraq had nothing to do with this. And that didn't seem to make much difference.
And we'll continue to work together to achieve peace. That's what we want. Freedom and peace.
Look at the Council on Foreign Relations. Many members, in fact, the majority, never serve on the executive committees. They never go through any initiation of any kind. They are, in fact, the power base and are used to gain a consensus of opinion. The majority are not really members, but are made to feel as if they are. In reality, they are being used and are unwilling or unable to understand. They may have been or may be members of the Christian or Jewish religion, but that is only to further their own ends. They are, and always have been, Luciferian and internationalist. They give allegiance to no particular nation, although they have used, on occasion, nationalism to further their causes. Their only concern is to gain greater economic and political power. The ultimate objective of the leaders of both groups is identical. They are determined to win for themselves undisputed control of the wealth, natural resources, and manpower of the entire planet. They intend to turn the world into their conception of a Luciferian totalitarian socialist state. In the process, they will eliminate all Christians, Jews, and atheists. You have just learned one, but only one, of the great mystery.
The people who are running this country from behind the scenes do not care a thing about Americans or bloodshed anywhere.
I think we're going to awaken one day to find out that we've all been too relaxed and entertained and watching television and being entertained with all the cares of life, never realizing what is going on in this country.
In the secret, ladies and gentlemen, they are at least, very bare minimum, 50 to 100 years ahead, beyond what you can even imagine.
We have the Illuminati.
And that's what's going on in a nutshell. They got things like CERN. Nobody don't know really what CERN is. CERN is a big old machine that they put together to check out dark matter in the universe. You can't change space. You can't change Earth and climate and weather and what's going. You can't make planets. I mean, these evil people are really trying to do things. They creating hybrids. I'm talking about like animals and humans mixed together. You know, they trying to make superhumans. You know, they just doing all this research and all this putting together, mixing genes with this genes, DNA with this DNA. I mean, they creating a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But in the meantime, we sitting there worrying about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, and reality shows and game shows and fake, you know, stuff like sports is becoming fake to me now. I'm starting to believe they script that now. Wrestling is fake. I mean, it's just TV to me is just fake, you know. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I don't watch some things on TV. I'm not saying that. But one thing I do know is fake. I know it's fake, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind that. That's evil based, basically. And I don't know what to tell y'all people. I gotta look at it. You gotta read your Bible. It tells everything you want to know. Everything I'm saying to you, it's in the Bible. You got the President Obama, dictator. He's dictating every law that God said don't do. Everybody say they read the Bible, and they say they Christians, but they miss a whole lot of things that the Bible clearly states. You got the Ten Commandments. You know, I mean, you got the Pope. These people praising the Pope like he's God. You don't call another man father in a godly form. You don't call the Pope father. He's not your father. Jesus is the Savior. There's no Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad ain't no Savior of our people. Jesus died on the cross for our sins. He took a butt whooping for us. Y'all sit here talking about Prophet Muhammad. Eh? Come on, let's be serious. Let's be real here. You know, I got a series that's coming up soon. It's going to be another episode. It's going to be called Religion. We're gonna dig deep in that also. But you know, you have all these things going on in the world. You have these refugees coming in and pouring themselves into America, ready to set up shop. You sitting there like, oh, let's bring them on in. Come on, y'all, bring them on in. You got radical Islamic people in those refugee camps, pouring into the United States, pouring into all these other countries, and causing havoc and setting up shop, ready, plan of destruction.
Pope Francis, the leader of the Catholic Church cult, has touched down in the United States, arriving in Washington, D.C. last night. The District of Criminals, greeted by the Obama crime family, and a crowd of hundreds, perhaps thousands, of cheering, mentally enslaved morons who apparently thought that Jesus has returned, apparently unaware that it's just an old man in a bathrobe who thinks that he's better friends with God than you or me or anyone else. There's actually 1.5 million mentally enslaved morons who are expected to show up for his papal mass in Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. So, the billions of Catholics around the world think that this guy somehow has a direct connection or is closer to God than me or you. And people ask the Pope, oh, if I could just touch the Pope, my prayers will be answered. If the Pope will pray for me, then God will answer them. If I can just see the Pope with my own eyes, then finally maybe God will pay attention to my prayers. What a joke. Apparently, the Catholics maybe just never read the New Testament? Are they aware of this guy called Jesus? Like what he did 2,000 years ago? Spilling the secrets of the kingdom of God and being murdered for it by the establishment to keep it quiet. They can continue to keep people in ignorance, opening a direct connection to the Creator. You don't need this clown in his bathrobe. But a couple other points about the Catholic Church I thought you should know. The Pope, by the way, is a Jesuit, which is a secretive society within the Catholic Church, which was created in 1540, basically as a terrorist arm of the Catholic Church in order to fight against the Protestant Reformation with hopes of keeping the Catholic Church in power by any means necessary. Any means necessary. Okay. So, the Catholic Church's crimes quite legendary. From imprisoning Galileo for correctly declaring that the earth revolved around the sun, to the Spanish Inquisition, where officials tortured and killed anyone who dared to disagree with them. And everyone is unfortunately familiar with their institutional pedophile problem and the generations of cover-ups that they have engaged in to protect the perpetrators. The point is that it's absolutely pointless to look up to this man, to see him as some sort of a better person than you or me, some sort of an holy figure, closer to God. He's just better friends with God than me or you. What an absolute joke. A couple other points. You want to learn more about the Jesuits?
The Benghazi situation was clearly set up. You got the deal with the nuclear weapons with Iran, giving these guys billions of dollars. Come on, man. You got racial profiling. Black Lives Matter. You know, I'm black. All lives matter. That's how I see it. That's how God would see it. That's how Jesus would see it. That's what any righteous person would see it. You tell me what righteous person wouldn't say all lives matter. Why your life would matter? That's just like saying only your family lives matter. Forget your neighbor. Your family lives matter. That's it. That's all. I can understand the frustration with the black racial profiling, with the cops pulling us over and things like that. We have to get up off that and realize that that's not going to ever stop. History repeats itself. Check out with the Ferguson riots and all those other riots that's been going on in the past couple of years. We can go back 50, 60 years with that. People been doing that. You know? That never left. That's always been there. So we gotta come off that Black Lives Matter, all lives.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
It gets worse. Just this week, Michelle Bachmann actually predicted that I would bring about the biblical end of days. Now that's a legacy. I mean, Lincoln, Washington, they didn't do that.
Jesus Christ would not vote for Barack Obama. Jesus Christ would not vote for Barack Obama. Christ would not vote for Barack Obama because Barack Obama has behaved in a way that is inconceivable for Christ to have behaved. Jesus Christ would not vote for Barack Obama. He supports a lifestyle that the Bible calls an abomination. Mr. Obama says he's a Christian, but he supports the destruction of innocent and sacred.
Und ich werde
Und so wie ich in dieses Amt eintrat, so will ich dann gehen. Ich tat es nicht um Gehalt und nicht um Lohn. Ich tat es deiner selbst wegen.
You might ask, how could a Christian nation, almost 100% Catholic, to elect a monster like Hitler? The truth is, at the beginning, Hitler didn't look like or talk like a monster at all. He talked like an American politician.
And we've seen Obama really come into his own, really grow into maturity as a dictator. He said many times at the beginning of the year that he was just the president, that we had divided powers. He said 22 times that he didn't have the authority to just make law. But by the end of the year, he was telling his friends, I changed the law for you.
I know some people want me to bypass Congress and change the laws on my own. And change the laws on my own. And believe me, right now dealing with Congress, the idea of doing things on my own is very tempting. What you're not paying attention to is the fact that I just took an action to change the law. Change the law. Change the law. Now,
no, Obama can't do that. He can't violate congressional law because he feels like it, like he's on the border, and guns and power plants.
But it's this image that has folks talking. It's a picture of Adolf Hitler and the symbol of communism, a hammer and sickle. The words read, Comrade Obama.
Adolf Hitler was the president, was the head of the National Socialist Party in Germany. So there is a connection between President Obama's leaning, very well-documented leanings towards socialism.
One-time Alaskan Governor Sarah Palin has solidified her status as the leader of the radical right wing, likening President Obama to Adolf Hitler. In a tweet Thursday, Palin endorsed an article by conservative columnist Thomas Sowell, which argues that Obama's establishment of a BP escrow fund would result in the administration embracing Nazi-like dictatorial powers.
Georgia Republican Congressman Paul Brown says he fears President-elect Obama could establish a Marxist dictatorship. Brown said in an interview Monday, quote, it may sound a bit crazy and off base, but he's the one who's proposed this national security force. That's exactly what Hitler did in Nazi Germany, and it's exactly what the Soviet Union did. He's showing me signs of being Marxist. You have to remember that Adolf Hitler was elected in a democratic Germany, end quote, Paul Brown.
Watch for Peyton to speak to the nation as the President of the United States would speak to the nation tonight and tell them, I am the dictator. I am the dictator. I am the one that's going to take care of everything.
That Obama, his powers are so unprecedented that even congressmen now are saying Obama is enacting dictatorial powers by saying that, yes, I'll follow some laws, but overall, I'll do anything I want. He has already used dictator-style powers to go ahead and do anything he wants.
He's no longer a U.S. president. He is now a dictator. We are now a transnational union. And unfortunately, as of today, Obama is now a dictator.